There are some formulas for standard geometric figures that you should know by memory. You should have these internalized. Just some basic shapes, like for instance, let's do the rectangle. Okay, the rectangle. All right, so it looks something like this, right? Maybe we have length and width. So the area of a rectangle is area equals length times width. That's the area is this, if you were to paint it, the amount of paint you would need is the area. The perimeter the perimeter is the distance around the rectangle. Okay, so that's the amount of fencing you would buy if you wanted to fence in a yard or something. So it's length plus width plus length plus width. So that's really 2 length plus 2 width. All right. Let's do the same thing for a, what's another shape? Circle. That's a common one. All right, there's my circle. Here we do this. This bit here is called R. We call it the radius. Okay, so the area, A equals pi r squared for a circle. And the perimeter, so that's the area is the, if we were to shade it in. The perimeter is the distance around. We call it circumference for a circle though. C, circumference. And that is 2 pi r. 2 pi r. So similar formulas, but a little different. Another common shape is a triangle. Triangle. Okay, so I'll draw an arbitrary triangle here. Okay, let's call this A, let's call this B, let's call this C over here, and then I'm going to draw a dotted line here and call this distance H. For height, H is for height. It's not really part of the triangle. I added that in myself. The formula for area of the triangle then is 1/2 base times height. Right, 1/2 base times height. You can think of it as half of a square. A square or a rectangle would be base times height. Right, here's that same formula up here, and then it's half that. Because you can think of a triangle as half of a rectangle. That's the way I remember the formula anyway. It's just half of the area of a rectangle. Okay, and then the perimeter, well, for the perimeter we just add up all 3 sides. So A plus B plus C. Okay. Another formula that isn't a geometric figure, but we should know it nonetheless, is for distance equals rate times time. Distance equals rate times time. This is a big deal. We'll see this a lot. Okay, so D is for distance. Okay, R is for rate. That's speed. And T is for time, of course. So that's just kind of thrown in here. It's not a geometric formula. Well, unless you get into some serious general relativity, in which case, yeah, it is geometric. We're talking about bending space-time and all that. Give it a couple years. It's really neat stuff. I recommend studying it. We also need a couple terms. We need 2 different kinds of triangles. Let's see here. I'm going to try to draw this. Pretend all these sides are exactly the same. If all those 3 sides are exactly the same, side, 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 we call it an equilateral triangle. Equilateral. And if 2 sides are the same, but one is different, so I'm thinking something like this. Again, imagine these lines are nice and straight, which they are not. Okay, so something like side, side, and then we'll just call this last one base. We call this isosceles. And the way I remember isosceles is because we have side, and then something else. I'll call it odd for O, and then side. Okay, it just helps me remember. Side, and then something odd, and then side again. Isosceles. Okay, just to tell the difference between isosceles and equilateral.